I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBM, we're taking a deep dive into the heart of leadership, quite literally. The name of the book is called Reviving the Heart of Leadership, Empowering Healthcare Executives to Lead with Compassion. It is written by a terrific author by the name of Dr. James L. Decker, and he draws from nearly 5 decades of experience to deliver a powerful message that true leadership begins with empathy, integrity, and service. As America's healthcare system faces unprecedented strain, this book challenges executives to reconnect with the human side of healthcare, one compassionate decision at a time. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Dr. Decker, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It is great to have you here. Let's talk about reviving the heart of leadership and what that means personally to you.
Well, basically, the book came from a desire on my part to share some of my experiences as a healthcare executive over almost 5 decades. Uh, I chose the title of the book to reflect the need to put back into our healthcare system compassion. That's where the term heart comes from. I use that term to describe the need for our healthcare delivery system to really get back to its roots, and that's providing good, compassionate care to the people of our country. Um, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on leadership. I've had some ups and downs throughout my career, but nevertheless, I thought that some of my experiences could be beneficial to others, particularly those who are in leadership positions in healthcare organizations across the country. So I just felt that it was time for us to take a step back and look at our healthcare delivery system and perhaps revive the heart of leadership, which I think the most of the people in our country really expect from our healthcare system.
Absolutely. Well, I beg to differ. I think you are an expert. Nearly 5 decades of experience as a healthcare executive, including the role of CEO. But I'll let you be humble and I'll let you say you're not an expert. But this book is really a great blueprint that you have written. Part of it is balancing business and heart. Healthcare is a unique business, as you point out in your book. Talk to us about balancing those two elements.
Sure. Well, it's a difficult balance. Let's face it, the healthcare delivery system has a lot of challenges, and many of those challenges relate to the financial aspects of healthcare. How do you pay for healthcare? How do you make healthcare more accessible to the general population? Uh, you look at the revenue stream to hospitals and other healthcare providers and how that's changed over the years. The insurance industry obviously plays a vital role into that, as well as the federal government through the Medicare and Medicaid. So any person in a leadership position in a healthcare organization has to be attuned to the financial issues that are facing their respective organizations. But what I try to describe in my book is that, yes, that's important, and you certainly can't take your eye off the ball each and every day. But nevertheless, I think we need to continue to focus on the compassionate side of healthcare. I think that's what most people want when they go to see a physician or have to be admitted into a hospital. First and foremost, they want quality care. And I think that's the primary focus, but they also expect that that care be delivered in a kind and compassionate way. Now, based on my personal experiences, obviously every single day you're challenged with the financial side of that equation.
Yeah.
Balancing the books, making sure you're uh, financially strong as an organization. And sometimes that takes us away and diverts our attention away from the compassionate element that I think is extremely important. And we really can't lose sight of that.
Absolutely. As I started out when I was asking you about this, it's a unique business. It's not only there to make money, it's there to improve lives, maintain lives, and save lives. So it's a unique mission, of course. One of the key points you talk about in your book is the ability to adapt, being adaptive as an executive and a leader. Talk to us about that aspect of your book.
Well, if you look at healthcare, the healthcare industry, it's changed a lot over the years. I began my career in 1976, and
Mhm.
the healthcare system, as we see it today, is nothing like it was back in
Yeah.
1976. Everything has changed, and so along the road, though, there are several events that have occurred that require that a good leader be adaptable to those changes. You have to develop what we call adaptive capacity, being able to roll with the punches, if you will.
Yeah.
There's going to be bumps in the road. Everything is not smooth. Everything is not going to go as scripted. And so, what I try to describe in my book, and I use the term crucible, to describe some of those developments or events that have happened along the way. That's not a term I invented, by the way. I actually read that in the Harvard Business Review several
Yeah.
years ago. But those events or those crucibles happen to all leaders
Mm.
in whatever industry, not just healthcare. And a good leader can adapt to those changes. They can both adapt their personal style, they can adapt some of the strategy within the organization to go in a different direction. And so what I feel was important is that, it's not a stagnant uh, leadership is not stagnant.
Mhm.
There's going to be changes. Every single day has changes, but certainly over the long haul, over 40 something years, there's going to be multiple changes, and good leaders can adapt to those changes.
Yeah, we've come a long way from the house call, the doctor showing up with his little bag,
Right,
to clinicians now that we don't even call them doctors anymore. We call them healthcare providers. And if you
right,
have one that you regularly see, you're
right,
fortunate because it's a revolving door.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
lots of money.
that certainly has changed. The practice of medicine has changed tremendously. Uh, a lot to the better, by the way, because
Hmm.
there's been developments along the way that really has improved our lives. Just look at technology and how that's changed. Both clinical technology and information technology, and how that drives much of what we do. And that continues to change. In fact, that changes at a very rapid pace. And so I think it's important for us to recognize that healthcare, like any other aspect within our society, is going to continue to change, hopefully for the better. I guess I hesitate a little bit in saying that because, getting back to the fundamental premise of my book, I think that in some respects we've allowed some of those changes to dictate how we do things, and perhaps have lost sight of the compassionate element, which I think is extremely important.
Integrity and commitment are also extremely important. Another part of your book. Tell us about those aspects.
Well, certainly, any leader, is going to have to demonstrate, good decision making, do what's right for the organization. The word integrity can mean a lot of different things to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, organizations select their leader, their CEO, based on their ability to make good decisions, both good decisions in their personal life, but also good decisions, on behalf of the organization. So I think it's important for us to not lose sight of that. Uh, Now that's easier said than done
Mhm.
sometimes, because sometimes the pressures are so steep, and sometimes your decision making gets a little clouded because you're dealing with multiple things at one time. Uh, but I think it's important for us to certainly appreciate that a good leader also demonstrates good integrity.
Absolutely. If you could leave one message to future healthcare leaders, what would that be?
Well, I think we've touched on that already. I think just be adaptable to change. I remember back when I was in graduate school, one of my professors used the term change agent to
Mhm.
describe a healthcare executive. And at the time, I thought that sounded kind of crazy to me. I didn't know what he was really trying to get at, but in retrospect, it really tells me that a good leader is adaptable and they
Mhm.
can adapt to changes and be able to, lead their organization in such a way that it's not always going to be the same. Each and every day is going to be something different. And so my message to future healthcare leaders is be willing to make changes and be willing to adapt to changes, and don't see things as certainly very stagnant and things are always going to be the same each and every day. That's just not healthcare.
Absolutely. And to understand the importance of experience, which is another part of your book. I've learned over the years you don't realize how important experience is until you have it, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I touch on that in my book a little bit by saying, all the educational programs are very good. Our country right now is blessed with a lot of great programs across the country, training future healthcare executives, both at the master's level and doctorate level. But sitting in a classroom is one thing. Actually going out there and doing it is something else. And so you learn a lot just by the experiences you're faced with, the decisions you make, the ups and downs. Everything's not going to be perfect. There are going to be those things where you wish you could go back and do them over again.
Yeah.
But that's just not the way things work. You learn from those experiences, and you hopefully are able to deal with those similar circumstances differently in the future based on how you dealt with them in the past.
Absolutely. And this book is a great guide for people who are pondering these very, very same questions. The name of the book is Reviving the Heart of Leadership, Empowering Healthcare Executives to Lead with Compassion. It is written by Dr. James L. Decker. It is an inspiring and essential read for anyone who believes leadership isn't just about systems, but about people. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
I appreciate your time, your insight, and the great work you've done on this book. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.